What's going on YouTube, and welcome back to my channel. So if you are tuning in, then you are here for the 3rd and 4th year medical school boot camp. In this episode, what we are talking about are letters of recommendation. So before I get to the rest of the video, I want you to know that you are greatly loved, and that you are wonderfully and beautifully created, and that you are capable of far more than you could ever imagine. Alright guys, so let's get right into it. So with letter of recommendations, there are 4 questions that I am asked all the time, and then there's one point that I want to make. So let's get to it. And with the first question, it is, when should I ask for letter of recommendations? So I'm someone that is very proactive and I'm very ambitious, and I want you guys to be the exact same way. Okay, so when should you ask for letter of recommendations come in 2 different parts. Sorry, I think my heat just kicked on, which is good because I'm freezing. But so if you hear a little bit of noise, that's what it is. So it kind of comes in 2 parts. So the very first day of your rotation, I want you to get to your rotation, walk up to the clinical coordinator, your preceptor, whoever it is, introduce yourself and say, hey, my name is Tommy Martin, and I want you to make me into the best doctor that you can make me into. And at the end of this, I want you to be able to write me an incredible letter of recommendation. So what do I need to do for you to be able to write me that great letter of recommendation? Okay, so that's day 1. And then towards about the midway through of your rotation, just kind of remind that preceptor, remind that attending, say, hello, you know, like you mentioned before that you'd write me a great letter of recommendation. I just wanted to make sure that you were still able to do that for me. Okay, so that's when to ask. So when to ask day 1, and then maybe midway through or towards the end of your rotation to make sure they're still on board with you. So the second question I get asked is, how many letter of recommendations do I need? So a lot of that depends on the program and the specialty that you're going into, but just to give you a rough number, which should keep you safe on all accounts, would be if you're applying to one specialty, like you're only applying to internal medicine, give 4 letter of recommendations. Okay, if you're applying to just surgery, give 4 letter of recommendations. But if for some reason you're applying a backup or you're applying to more than one specialty, then you might need to get 6, 7, or 8 letters of recommendations, because they need to be specific for the specialty that you're going into. For example, if you're applying surgery with backup of internal medicine, you should give 4 surgery letter of recommendations and also give 4 internal medicine recommendations. And it is vitally important that you tell them what specialty you are applying to, because you do not want to show up to an interview where the program director says, so you want to go into surgery, huh? Why are you interviewing at an internal medicine rotation, or why are you interviewing with internal medicine? You know, so if your letter writer does not know for sure what you want them to write about, or for sure what program you're applying to, it could lead to some trouble down the road. So make sure you take care of that. The next question is, should I get letter of recommendations from more than one specialty? Okay, I'll start off by saying I do believe that it is most important that you get letter of recommendations from the specialty that you want to go into. If you want to go into OBGYN, make sure you get OBGYN letter of recommendations. Now, I do not believe that it'll hurt you if you have a letter writer, say in pediatrics, that you know this pediatric attending just loved you, that they just loved everything about you, and you know they'd write you an incredible letter of recommendation. I do not think there's anything wrong with them writing you a letter of recommendation for a different specialty. But you have to make sure that you let them know it is not pediatrics, it's OBGYN that you want, or whatever it is. Make sure if it is from a different specialty that they write the specialty that you actually want to go into. And the last question that I get asked most frequently, which I kind of already touched on, but is how to ask. Especially as 3rd year medical students, we are all kind of in the hospital and we have a little bit of anxiety, we're a little nervous, we're a little bit scared, and you know, we might be a little intimidated by these attendings and these preceptors. But so the way you could go about asking your preceptor is, you know, like I said, the way I did it, you could definitely do if you're up for it day 1, go up to them, but just approach them with humility for one, and you know, approach them just kind of saying, Dr. So-and-so, you know, like I've really enjoyed this rotation and I want to go into pediatrics, and so would you be able to write me a great letter of recommendations for a pediatric residency? And so just go up to them with humility, go up to them, you know, with confidence as well, even though I think when I just said that I didn't seem too confident, but go up to them with humility and with confidence and just ask. You know, the worst that can happen is them say no, and that's nothing off your back, you know. And so I would definitely recommend ask. Another thing that I want to touch on is that you may want to ask for more letter of recommendations than 4. I said that you need 4, but you may want to ask for more than that, because what happens if you get down the road and it's time to submit your application and you only get 3 in, even though 5 told you that they would write them? You know, so you never know. So I'd rather be safe than sorry and maybe ask for more than I actually need, just so when it comes down to crunch time, I'll have enough to turn in. Okay, and then there's no more questions I really get asked about letter of recommendations, but if you do have some, please comment below. But the last thing I want to touch on is harass the heck out of them. After they say they will write you a letter of recommendation, especially when it gets near crunch time, keep reminding them. You have to realize these attendings are extremely busy. And your letter of recommendation, I'm sorry, but it doesn't rank too high on their to-do list when they're saving lives, right? So make sure that you continually remind them and kind of just give gentle reminders about the letter of recommendation, so when it comes down to turning your application, you're ready to go. You have all these great letters of recommendations from these incredible attendings, and you're gonna make a huge first impression at your interviews when they see these letter of recommendations. All right, guys. Well, I believe that's it for letters of recommendation. But again, if you have any questions whatsoever, comment below. Even if you don't have questions, comment below. I love talking with you guys. I love interacting with you guys, and I love helping you. So yeah, let's talk, let's chill, let's hang out. All right, guys. So that's the end of this video. Before I end the video though, I want you guys to know that you are greatly loved, and that you are wonderfully and beautifully created, and that you are capable of far more than you could ever imagine. And if you're sick of that yet, I'm sorry, because I'm going to keep saying it until you understand it and you tell the rest of the world. God bless, guys.